Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. We are pretty much fully moved in to the house at this point. I want to show you something right now, real quick. Just give you an idea of what's going on. Check that out. Got some couches set up. Got like a living room actual setup. Starting to actually look like a house. Um, Man, it's been a freaking project, right? I mean, this has been like an ongoing what 10 11 month project getting this house like completed. When we started working on this thing during summer, like it's been a trip, you know. Um, but eventually, I'm gonna get you guys like an actual video of an updated walkthrough of the place. As you can tell, we got lights now in the ceiling. We got actual usable power outlets. Um, we got power to like 70% of the house, lights in 70% of the house. Um, Pretty much like actually living over here now. We got the stove working, got microwave, blenders, TVs working, got internet set up. Um, we're getting there. You know what I mean? Next on the list is we're going to try to track down and get an actual refrigerator because we don't have a refrigerator right now. So that would make things a million times easier. For obviously, you know what I mean, you guys try going without a fridge for a while and see how well that goes. So found a couple of used refrigerators on Facebook Marketplace. All of them like under $100, and all of them are supposedly guaranteed to work. And they're telling you that you can actually come out in person and like actually physically look at them, and see that they are working and stuff like that. So hopefully, Friday we'll, try to find one of the better ones, product of elimination, and get us an actual fridge in here so we actually start storing cold items. Because right now we haven't been able to really use cold items. We've only been, canned food and just stuff that doesn't need refrigerated, stuff that doesn't spoil, yada yada yada. So this is gonna be nice to get a fridge. We have a stove; it works perfectly fine. Turned out it had a half bad breaker in the fuse panel. So what had happened was I installed the stove outlet and got it wired, and I wired it correctly, obviously. And I triple checked it. I was like, "What the hell is going on with this stove?" It was getting partial power. It would light up the clock. It would light up the timer and all the electronics, but it would not actually turn on the stove. It would not heat up. And we were like, what is going on? Is the stove broken? So I unplugged the stove and I go in with my multimeter tool that measures like electricity and voltage and stuff like that. And I test the wires to the stove. On a stove, you should be getting 240 volts. You'll have like four wires, right? You'll have an actual copper ground. Then you'll have like a white neutral. Then you will have a black hot and a red hot. And what you want to test are those hots. So you'll take one of your leads, your ground lead, and you'll ground it on either. You can ground it on either the white neutral or the copper ground. I chose the copper ground, obviously, because it's more of an actual dedicated ground. So I put my black on the copper ground. I took my other positive, put it on the red hot. I was getting 120 volts like you're supposed to. Then I go and I put it on the black hot. You're supposed to get another 120 volts, 240 volt total. I was getting 120 volts on the red hot, but I was getting zero on the black hot, 0 volts on the black hot. And then another test you can do is take both of your leads together and touch both hots, touch red and black. And you should get the full 240 volt rating altogether. I was only getting 120. So I was like, okay, we're only getting half power to the stove. It was a bad breaker. It was like on a double 60, which was too high for what it was supposed to be. But it was half dead. Okay, so we go and we take out the breaker. We go to Home Depot. We buy a double 50 instead. It's more of an appropriate rating for what it's supposed to be. We wire up the double 50 double breaker. We put it in. Bam. Stove's working perfectly fine. Stove's heating up, getting hot. Everything's working how it's supposed to. We're back in business. Okay? It was just a half-dead breaker. Thought the stove was broke. Stove's perfectly fine. All 4 burners on the top work perfectly. The oven works perfectly. Even got the light bulb replaced, so now the light actually turns on and off. And then the other thing I want to hurry up and talk about is then we started having issues with the water heater. Now, the water heater was a water heater that was in here when we first bought the property. We had never used it before. It wasn't our own personal water heater. It was just in the property when we got in here. Was told that it worked, was guaranteed that it worked, yada, yada, yada. Now, the water heater is manufactured in 2019. It's only like a 4-year-old. That's like brand new almost for a water heater. Still technically under warranty, but you have to be the actual original purchaser of the water heater with like the receipts and everything to actually prove that you are the original owner, which we're not, obviously. So we couldn't warranty out and just get free parts, unfortunately. And the thing about the water heater has like a 6-year warranty, so it is still technically under warranty. So that's considered still a new water heater, because you got water heaters that go anywhere from 10, 20, 30 plus years out of the same tank, depending on how well you take care of it, your water condition. There's a few different factors that come into play with the longevity of your water heater. But typically, a 2019 water heater, we should be getting at least 10, 15 years out of this heater, and I think that we will. It's a 40-gallon, so it's a 40-gallon all-electric Rheem water heater, which is a really good water heater, mainly sold at Home Depot. And the thing still looks pretty much like almost brand new. It's in great condition. We got it put into the corner of the bathroom, got it all hooked up, got the water lines on, got them crimped, everything good to go. Filled the tank with water. No hot water. I take out my voltmeter, and you can actually measure ohms on your heating element and see if a heating element is bad or not. So what you do is, on your voltmeter, you see this little icon that looks like the upside down horseshoe, right there. You can see it right there. You set your voltmeter to 200 ohms with the horseshoe, and you take your leads. Doesn't matter. In an ohms test, it doesn't matter really typically which one goes to which, because you're not measuring like power, you're just measuring resistance and continuity and stuff. So you take your leads, your black and your red, and you take a water heater heating element. For those that don't know, this is what is inside of your water heater. It's a giant heating element, almost kind of like what is in your stove, except for it goes inside your water heater. Works almost the same way for the most part. It heats up and it gives off radiant heat, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, this goes in your water heater. Try to back up. This thing's awfully long. There you go, better example for you. And if you look on the ends, you can see there are 2 screw holes. This is where the 2 wires in the water heater, they get screwed in to these 2 terminals with these screws. So the way that you test a water heater element is you take your 2 leads from your multimeter, your black and your red, and in this test, it doesn't matter which one goes to which. You touch one lead to one screw, and you touch your other lead to the other screw. Hopefully you can see that. Having a little bit of difficulty. You touch your leads onto the screws just like that. You want to make sure, this is very important, guys. The power, you want to go to your fuse box, turn off your breaker. You want to turn off your switch to the water heater. The power has to be off when conducting this test, or the test will not work, okay? So go to your fuse panel, find your water heater breaker, flip it off, then come and do this test. And you can do this with these still installed inside the heater. They don't have to be taken out for this test, okay? I'm just using this as an example. You put your 2 leads onto the 2 screws, just like that. I'm going to hold this on in place while I do this. You should be getting anywhere from 13 to 16 ohms on your multimeter when you do this test. And if you look at that, hang on, put this down for a second. If you look at this, we're getting nothing. We're only getting a single number 1, which means it's not working. The oddball number 1 is just the power from the multimeter actually functioning. That's all that is. So we're getting nothing. No power at all. I will show you real quick what it should look like when a heating element is getting continuity. This element is still technically bad. It is completely covered in sediment buildup, and it looks like crap, okay? But just for the purpose of this test, like I said, same thing. You're going to take your 2 leads. You're going to put 1 to each screw. Now look at that. See that? We're actually getting a reading. Getting a reading of 14.1. Oh, yeah. It's fluctuating between 14 and 14.1. That technically would show that a heating element is good. And then, so this is what it looks like when it's good. This is what it looks like when it's bad. Just to clarify that. Very simple way to check. Also, you can check a brand new one when you purchase a brand new one, just to make sure that you're not getting a defective part. As soon as you get the new heating element, as soon as you take it out of the package, you can conduct the exact same test just to ensure that you didn't get a broken one from the factory or something. And if it's bad, then if you're showing no continuity at all on the multimeter, it's bad, and you're going to have to replace that element. So what had happened was, trying to make this shorter than what it needs to be. So the elements were bad, so I went over to Lowe's. I bought 2 heating elements. They was only like $10 a piece, very cheap, very affordable. And I put the new heating elements into the heater, into the water heater, filled it full of water, turned on the power. Still no hot water, nothing. Even though that we confirmed that the elements are bad, 100% the elements were bad, we still didn't have hot water. So we're like, well, what's going on? Turned out the thermostats were also bad. Now, I don't know, because like I said, this isn't our own personal water heater when we got in here. So I don't know what the last guy did to this water heater. I don't know how you blow both your elements and your thermostats on your water heater, but you must have done something really wrong for that to have happened. It blew out the heating elements and the thermostats. So then I had to go back to Lowe's and buy the upper and lower thermostats for the water heater, and then bam, it was fixed. We had hot water. I couldn't tell you how you blow. The only thing that I could think of, I don't know if anyone knows this or not, so just a little public service announcement real quick. If you turn on your power to your hot water heater when it has 0 water inside of it, when it's completely empty, you will destroy both heating elements and thermostats sometimes. You will destroy them. So that had to have been what had happened with the last owner. I don't know. because these have to be submerged in water for these to be turned on. If not, they will essentially explode for the most part, in layman's terms. You know what I mean? Always make sure that your water heater is completely full of water before turning on the breaker. The only thing that I could assume is that the last guy flipped the breaker switch on one day when the tank was empty, destroyed everything. Now, luckily, like I said, the elements, $10 a piece. You only need two, $20 right there. Upper and lower thermostats, like $12 a piece. So we're like at, an oddball 40, slightly less than $50. And we fixed the water heater completely. It works excellent. And like I said, the water heater is only a 2019. Still very new. Still in very good condition. And now it's working perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. No issues at all. Perfect hot water, hot showers. Everything is functioning as it should be, right? And I'm glad, because I didn't want to, really don't have the money right now to buy a new water heater, obviously. Next thing we got to get, so we got the stove working now, and we got the water heater functioning now. So we're all good there. Two things checked off the list. The only other thing we need to get is a refrigerator, and we'll be damn near set at that point. Okay. Like I said, later on, I'm going to give you guys an actual updated walkthrough house tour of the new, because obviously you can tell we got actual drywall up all over the place. We got power outlets that are actually working. As you can tell, we got power, internet modems turned on, obviously. We have lights on. So we have power now, guys. And we have water lines and everything. We almost have a fully functional house at this point. Well, I'm going to go ahead, jump off here. I'll see you guys in the next video, which will probably be the home walkthrough tour video. And I think you guys will be pretty pumped up and excited to see how much progress we have made since the last time that you guys saw us. It's been a lot. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and jump off here, and I will see you guys in the next video.